Okay, so I have a few decodes that are already the slides are already all put together. I just got to put some voice to them. I decided to bump this one up a little bit as I think it was kind of uh more relevant at where we're at now. I didn't want to put it off any more days. I felt like the other ones could kind of take a back seat. So this is that flamethrower incident, and I'm going to show you how it updated, and I'm going to show you how even with the update it still lands with what I put together. But you see it says FBI. The FBI says 6 injured in Colorado attack by man with a makeshift flamethrower who yelled "Free Palestine." Now, that's the Associated Press. Now, when I try to pull up that exact article, you could see it pulls up, but they changed it to 8 injured in Colorado attack by man with makeshift flamethrower who yelled "Free Palestine." Okay? You see that? And it's I one of the other breakdowns that I have already complete, I just got to put it out, is this volcanic eruption or whatever, Mount Etna, Sicily, Italy. Maybe there's some kind of connection there, as you see, kind of like lava, which, kind of like flames, kind of like smoke, kind of like makeshift flamethrower, right? So So I'll play the news clip. I hope it plays because I had to edit out a news clip in one of my last breakdowns. Hopefully this one plays. And it appears we're going to have to go to YouTube to play it. So as we get through the ad here, I'll go ahead and share after this ad.
The attack happened early Sunday afternoon in front of the county courthouse in downtown Boulder, where a march was taking place to raise awareness of Israeli hostages still being held in Gaza.
The initial callers indicated that there was a man with a weapon and that people were being set on fire.
According to Boulder police, multiple people were injured in the attack. Those injuries ranged from minor to serious.
When we arrived, we encountered multiple victims that were injured with injuries consistent with burns and other injuries. This was a beautiful Sunday afternoon in downtown Boulder on Pearl Street, and this act is unacceptable.
Witnesses were shaken.
I came out, it was chaos. People were writhing on the ground. It was traumatic to watch.
We had seen burn marks on the ground. There were Israeli protester flags on the ground, and we saw a couple people getting wheeled out on carts.
Members of the Jewish community in Colorado have condemned the attack, while FBI Director Kash Patel said on social media it was a targeted terror attack. At a late-night press conference, the FBI identified the suspect as Mohammed Solomon.
This attack happened at a regularly scheduled weekly peaceful event. Witnesses are reporting that the subject used a makeshift flamethrower and threw an incendiary device into the crowd. The suspect was heard to yell "Free Palestine" during the attack.
Police say it is not known if he acted alone or as part of a larger network. Cristian Benavides, CBS News.
Yes, he's probably a part of a larger network, okay? This is probably somebody who's a part of a government organization, as a lot of times they'll give us these stories and they'll tell us later on, not saying this is the case, but they would tell us later on, oh, this person was a part, a former member of the military or something like that. But just an example, right? And you could call someone like that like an agent of chaos, okay? But just in case the video has to get edited out, I'll still read like a paragraph or two here. So, a man with a makeshift flamethrower yelled "Free Palestine" and hurled a incendiary device into a group that had assembled to raise attention for Israeli hostages in Gaza. Law enforcement officials said Sunday 8 people. Again, they updated it to 8. Maybe you get some other stories with different numbers, but 8 people were injured with some burns. Okay. And they keep talking about what's going on, with Israel, Gaza. They keep talking about this stuff. It's like, can we talk about some of the struggles that's going on here? Can they focus more on like homelessness? Can they focus more on drug addiction? Right? They keep dragging us to these stories. They'll talk about like Hamas, right? Israel, Gaza. It's like, dude, it's like they're trying to get us to care about this. And I care about it because I'm doing a breakdown on it. And this is what I do. I break down trending stories. But for real, homelessness in our areas, drug addiction, young people hooked on pills, right? Which are deadly. When I was growing up, it was marijuana. They taught us that marijuana killed you, but marijuana where I'm at is legal now. You got all these kids that are doing pills, right? Pills are extremely deadly. So, anyways, they want to keep bringing this up and what's going on with these different religions and these different countries, even though this was in Boulder, Colorado. But it's like they keep forcing this on us, right? So the suspect, Mohammed Sabri Solomon, age 45, here's that number 45 again, was booked into the Boulder County Jail north of Denver and expected to face charges in connection with the attack the FBI was investigating as a terrorist attack, okay? That's something totally made up by the government, the terrorists, the whole terrorist thing. Let me know how many times you've walked outside and seen terrorists, okay? I'm waiting, but online records did not immediately show when he would make a court appearance. And let me just Google over here. Israeli hostages in Gaza. Okay, top stories. Gaza war hostage crisis. On October 7th, 2023, as part of the Hamas-led attack on Israel at the beginning of the Gaza war, Hamas and other Palestinian militant groups abducted 251 people from Israeli to the Gaza Strip, including children, women, and elderly people. And yes, that does sound like a major deal, and it is a major deal, right? But as I say, there's probably, there's stories and there's situations in our country where more people are affected by certain things, right? Okay. Now, this may go along with maybe like the Diddy thing, right? As they speak about trafficking, abducting, that is going to go hand in hand, right? And you see the children and women, which is obviously important, right? But they seem to shove this down our throat. Do y'all know anybody? Y'all know any Israelis? Y'all know anybody connected with Hamas or the Gaza war crisis? I mean, I don't. Okay, again, let me know in the comments. I'm not trying to be insensitive here, but let's go to the breakdown, because again, originally they say 6 injured, right? And it's not a coincidence that we have entered the 6th month, okay? And currently, as I speak, we are in the 6th month. All right, this story might have been like a day or so before, but 6 injured. Remember, Taylor Swift bought back her first 6 albums from Shamrock Capital, I guess, which ended up owning them after Big Machine Records, that whole Scooter Braun mess. But remember, it was 6 albums as we entered the 6th month. Now, originally it was 6 injured, and they're changing it to 8, and I'll show you how that hits. So isn't this amazing? Because look, Sunday was the first day of June. Look at that. Law enforcement officials said Sunday 6 people were injured with some burns. The first day of the 6th month, 6 people, they say originally. Look at this. Okay? So that was 61 days before the founding anniversary of Colorado, and this was in Colorado. 61, let me repeat, 61 days before the founding anniversary of Colorado. And this happened on 6/1, June 1st. You see that? And the 61 makes an appearance again, the 61 and the 16. Every story I report on, we're getting 16 and 61, 106, 161, 166, over and over and over and over again. Notice how Colorado was founded in the 8th month of August. Remember, they updated this in the Associated Press to 8 injured now. You see that? So they updated to 8 injured from 6. And as I had this already made, it syncs up with the 8, as Colorado was founded in the 8th month. And again, 61 days before that founding anniversary, on 6/1, this makeshift flamethrower and the man burning people, right? Wow. In 1861, President James Buchanan signed an act creating the territory of Colorado. You see that? Before, it was set in stone, I guess. No pun intended, Boulder. But check that out. So founded August 1, 1876. On February 28, 1861, the act was signed, I guess, creating the territory. I mean, however you want to separate the two. And then on August 1st, President Ulysses S. Grant signed it or whatever. Isn't that amazing? 1861, on 6/1, this event, 61 days before the founding anniversary or when it was signed as a state. Look at that. 6/1, 6/1, 6/1. We're in the 6th month. 6 people burned. Increased to 8. Colorado founded in the 8th month. Even Boulder, Colorado, in the ordinal cipher equates to 160, which is like 16, which is 1/6, which is like the first day of the 6th month, which was Sunday. Free Palestine. In the reverse cipher, 216, you get the 1 and you get the 6 again. This is amazing. Look at the date numerology of this. You see Muhammad right there too. Is that his name, Muhammad? Whatever his name was, we'll get back to it because it syncs up. But you see the guy. Wow. This happened on the 152nd day of the year. The founding anniversary of Colorado leaves 152 days in the year, August 1st. And you see, it's going to be the same. This happens on the 152nd day of the year, leaving 213 days. The founding anniversary of Colorado, the 213th day of the year. You even get 16 date numerology on both, as you see right there. Another 16 to go with the 16 to go with the 61. You also get 18 date numerology on the founding anniversary of Colorado, which is the first day of the 8th month. Wow. I mean, just look at that. I hope you like how I put that together. You see the makeshift flamethrower. This is an actor, man. This guy is an actor affiliated with the government officials. I mean, I've seen enough of these stories, like an agent of chaos. You think about like the Capitol riot. You think about the people who sparked that off. You think about like the protests that go on in the streets. They have agents that trigger regular people to go out and protest, right? But it's the agents of chaos that are causing these actions, okay? And it may have been innocent victims burned, I'm not sure, right? You can, if you want, I can just say, okay, that's my opinion, but these are facts I'm showing you. And what are the odds of this? Look at that. Look at in the squares there. The founding anniversary of Colorado on the right. This is in Colorado on June 1st. You see June 1st on the left. Look at how that goes together. Even flamethrower equals 180. Mohammed Sabri Solomon 108 and 81. That syncs up with the founding date of Colorado. 8-1 or the first day of the 8th month. Look at that. The name of the guy who they say does this even syncs up with Colorado. This is like a lottery with numbers. It's a lottery and look at how the flamethrower, look at how that breaks down in the reverse cipher. In reverse, F is the 21st letter. If you reverse the alphabet. L15, A26, there's 26 letters, right? In reverse, A would be 26. M14, E22, T7, and you see the rest. 180 flamethrower, okay? And look at how that syncs up. So it's like a lottery with the numbers. And it's a computer. These letters have numerical values. You ever hear a news story where, they're like, oh, so-and-so is 13 years old. They committed this crime on 1680 North Weathersby Drive. 10 people were injured. This happened around 11:13 p.m. You know what I'm saying? You hear these news stories where they give all the numbers. The numbers just they just connect and they all come together in a certain type of pattern. The only example I can use is, to me, it's like if you're at the casino or whatever and you pull the handle of like that slot machine or whatever, and it like lands and it syncs up with the fruit or whatever, lemon, cherry, all of that. That's kind of what it makes me think of. And it's like insert character here by the numbers. You know what I mean? Look at makeshift flamethrower, and this was in Colorado. Look at in the reverse cipher. These are gonna stay. These are gonna remain facts. Makeshift flamethrower 331 Colorado 133. Look at that. 331. Look at it from right to left is 133. They say a makeshift flamethrower in Colorado. Flamethrower 63 and 63. Free Palestine equals 63. And those are both reduction ciphers. There's only 4 ciphers overall that I use to show you this code. There's other ciphers, but I don't need to use them. I think we speak the English language, so I'm showing you the English language with the alphabet, the language we speak. Flamethrower's got 63 in reduction, just like Free Palestine. And you even get an exact cipher match with there, as Flamethrower has 63 in 2 base ciphers. Even makeshift Flamethrower 236. And these numbers have been hitting. In other breakdowns, we've been seeing these same numbers. This connected in the Taylor Swift breakdown. If you go look, scroll back like 2 videos or whatever. This will hit in the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen, their quarterback, he got married to what the hell's her name? Haley Steinberger or whatever the hell her name is. He got married to her, and the 63 is in that breakdown. I think the 36 as well, but I actually skipped that breakdown to bring this one, but that one will be next. You'll see the connections.
I'm able to confirm there are 6 victims, ages 67 to 88. All of them have been transported to local hospitals. This attack happened at a regularly scheduled weekly peace.
67 to 88, the ages of the burned victims here. 67 is the 19th prime number. Chaos equals 19. They say ages 67 to 88. 8 plus 8 is 16. And this happened on the first day of the 6th month.
Peaceful event. Witnesses are reporting that the subject used a makeshift flamethrower and threw an incendiary device into the crowd. The suspect was heard to yell, "Free Palestine," during the attack. The subject has been identified as Mohammed Sabri Solomon, and he's 45 years old. The FBI is processing the crime scene and the subject vehicle and interviewing key witnesses. We're assisting Boulder police in providing technical, analytic, and additional forensic resources. As a result of these preliminary facts, it is clear that this is a targeted act of violence, and the FBI is investigating this as an act of terrorism. Sadly, attacks like this are becoming too common across the country. This is an example of how perpetrators of violence continue to threaten communities across our nation.
Okay. All right. And look at how heavy that thumbnail hits. Again, I'm not an advocate of people getting burned, getting manipulated, right? But this stuff we should question this stuff. That's everything I entered. I'm seeing a lot of connections in here. Look, you even get the 306 with the Mohammed Sabri Solomon, which connects to that 3663 flamethrower equals 63 and 63. That 306 hits with the Big Machine Records with the Taylor Swift story. And remember, that was 6 albums. Originally, they're saying 6 people burned here. Big Machine Records equals 306. Machine's got the M like Mohammed. Big Machine Records. Big's got B like Boulder, Colorado, okay? So, and I think that 18 hits in the Josh Allen breakdown that's coming next as well. And a lot of these numbers, 72, okay? And notice how a lot of these numbers, you add them up and they equal 9. Look at Free Palestine, 135. 1 plus 3 plus 5 is 9. 63, 6 plus 3 is 9. 216, 2 plus 1 plus 6 is 9. 72, 7 plus 2 is 9. Right? So, that kind of exposes our number system a little bit more. Even look at the top, 207. Add up the single digits, 9, 81, 9, 306, 9, 108, 9. You see that? Okay. So again, they updated it to 8 with our new article. And don't forget, Colorado founded in the 8th month. August 1st is their birthday. And let me go over here. Some stories are saying 12 burned as well. Suspect charged with federal hate crime. Suspect in Colorado attack on Israeli hostage advocates charged with, I don't know what it was going to say there. Attempted murder? I don't know. Attempted something. See? This is a story. This is a character that they give us. And sympathy with anybody who has been taken hostage in the world. But I just want to shed light. They need to talk about homelessness in America. Maybe I need to come on and do a little video on that. They need to talk about that. What's causing that? I don't know if they want to shed a light on what's causing that, right? Maybe I can shed a light on what's causing that in some upcoming videos. That might be a possibility, as I got a lot of breakdowns already on deck. Drug use in America. You see all the charts, and that goes hand in hand with homelessness. Right? And I'm not saying that people aren't responsible for what they do. Something leads to this. Do you understand? Something leads to this. It's a very intricate system that we all live in, where it's very controlled. Think about the music that they give us. Advertising drug use. It's been happening my entire life. This hits young people. Young people are affected by this. Young people are triggered. Their father may be in prison. They probably a single parent household. The mother's working, possibly, 2 jobs or whatever, right? What do? We turn to music. We turn to television. Now it's social media. So yeah, maybe I need to do a video on that. But anyways, just to shed a little bit of light on that, okay? And it might be video time. As again, I got about 8 breakdowns on deck, as I've had more free time on my hands. FBI says 6 injured. As it's updated to 8, you'll see stories of 12 or whatever. Injured in Colorado attack by man with makeshift flamethrower. And again, this may connect to that volcanic eruption in Sicily, possibly. That breakdown's on deck. So I may have to revisit this as I present that breakdown. But makeshift flamethrower, and the dude yelled, "Free Palestine." Shout out to y'all. Until next time.